over her situation and, feels that she's being subjected to this perceived injustice. There are so many different things here in the differential, and obviously I've never examined her, so I can't make a diagnosis, but I think about things like psychosis.
Yeah, I can be honest. Like, like, we're back with another crazy video. McDonald's murder takes a case takes a shocking turn. Now, the title sounds crazy to me, cause like you don't see a title like this. But if you're new to my channel, you probably seen my channel. We do camera videos, body camera videos. This isn't one of them. This is a other video I chose. And let's get into this video.
She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully. She could keep being a bully if she wants to, but that is going to catch up to her.
You might remember this woman, Afeni Muhammad, the McDonald's employee who apparently went on a rant that prosecutors say turned deadly when she was accused of killing her manager at a McDonald's following an argument. Well, now a major decision has flipped this case, and we're going to break down what it means for what comes next in court with a criminal defense attorney. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. This all started with a rant. It was raw.
I didn't see that on Instagram, but comment if y'all seen that on Instagram. I don't really be on Instagram like every day, every second. So
It was angry, and it was all over Instagram.
She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully. Somebody will have to do something about that. It's not funny. It's not fair. It isn't funny at all. So, she could keep being a bully if she wants to, but that is going to catch up to her.
So yeah, you might remember this woman, 27-year-old Afeni Muhammad, who we have talked about here before on Sidebar. That was her, apparently venting online about her manager at a McDonald's in East Point, Michigan. And hours later, that same manager, Jennifer Harris, was dead. And now, after months of silence and questions about what would happen next in this case, there is finally a new development that we have to talk about, one that clears the way for what comes next in court. Now, we're going to get to that, but first we got to rewind. This is one of those stories that actually started on social media, and it spiraled into something that no one could have imagined. On July 10th, police say that Afeni Muhammad, an employee at the McDonald's, a 9-mile road, got into some sort of argument with her manager, Jennifer Harris, after she said she was sent home early. According to investigators, Muhammad left, sat in her car for a while, and then came back with a knife. So when we talk about premeditation, let's think about that. When officers arrived, what did they find? Harris had been reportedly stabbed up to 15 times. A customer with a gun had stepped in to stop Muhammad from fleeing. Now, Harris was rushed to the hospital. She tragically died later from her injuries. Horrific case. And on July 11th, when we talk about what's going on in the court process, Muhammad made her first court appearance for her arraignment. This is where detectives laid out what they said.
and hearing this, meaning that social media could transpire like anybody's life. Like, I'm trying to say, social media, a post.
Happened in chilling detail.
Prior to the stabbing, Muhammad was sent home by Harris for not performing her work duties and told Harris, "I'll be back." Muhammad was arrested on scene and the knife was recovered. Muhammad admitted that she intended to kill Harris and stated that after she was sent home, she drove to a nearby park, decided to come back and stab Harris with a knife that she had inside of her vehicle. When Muhammad returned to stab Harris, she entered the back entrance with a hooded mask over her face in an attempt to conceal her identity and attempted to flee the scene after the stabbing, but was stopped by an armed customer.
So Muhammad was charged with first-degree premeditated murder and carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent. Now, she's also been charged as a habitual offender. What does that mean? Well, it's a designation that stems seemingly from a prior stabbing conviction in Virginia. We're going to talk about that too. Her bond was also set at $25 million cash or surety. Strict conditions if she were to be released, so that includes GPS monitoring, drug and alcohol testing, no contact with the victim's family, and a ban on returning to that particular McDonald's. Now, if you're a fan of Sidebar, if you're a fan of what we do here at Law and Crime, then you know that we cover a lot of cases. And you might be wondering, how are we able to share so many clips with our followers? In such real time, in such a fast fashion. Well, I'll tell you, if you're interested in getting content up there very fast, we use a platform called Opus Clip. This is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it easier and faster to cut, create, and upload videos across all social media platforms. Through the power of AI, Opus Clip automatically generates B-roll, it cleans up audio, and it reframes your videos for any platform. Opus Clip is so easy to start using. I'm going to show you how right now. All you got to do is go to opus.pro/sidebar. You sign up, you upload a video, and in just a few minutes, you will have tons of perfectly edited clips ready to go. So whether you're making videos for TikTok or Shorts or Instagram Reels, Opus Clip is your one-stop shop for getting your best content seen by more viewers across all these platforms with the press of just one button. And if you're wondering how good these AI edited videos are from Opus Clip, just look at our content here at Law and Crime. Our producers have used Opus to help us cut and share clips of some of our biggest trials, and we do it really, really fast. Look, at Sidebar, we know our listeners have a lot of opinions and ideas to share, and this is the most powerful tool there is to help you edit like a pro and grow your audience. So give it a try for yourself. Go to opus.pro/sidebar to start creating your own videos today. Now we got to talk about what happened at her next hearing on July 23rd. This is when Muhammad's defense attorney requested a competency and criminal responsibility evaluation. In other words, does she understand the legal process and what's happening?
And you're asking that this matter be adjourned for discovery, number one, and number two, you want it referred to the Forensic Center for Competency and Culpability, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Counsel does request at this time that Mr. Muhammad be referred to the Forensic Center for the matter. It's my understanding that Ms. Muhammad herself personally objects to the referral at this time.
What is the factual basis that you rely on for the referral?
Your Honor, based upon my observations of the case and in reviewing the case, specifically the police reports, and then again my observations in interacting with Ms. Muhammad, I need to check those two boxes. Meaning, I need to make sure that one, she is competent to stand trial, and then two, that there's not an issue in regards to responsibility or culpability.
So this meant that the case would pause while doctors, evaluators, would determine whether Muhammad really understood her charges, whether or not she could assist in her own defense. We actually spoke with forensic psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Bober about what evaluators look for in these situations, what it really means to be competent to stand trial. This is what he had to say.
Competency is a moving target. You know, someone can be competent one week and they can be incompetent the next week. So in the United States, competency is determined by a U.S. Supreme Court case, U.S. v. Dusky. And essentially what that case says is that you have to have the ability to work with your attorney, to collaborate with them, and have a rational and factual understanding of the charges against you. So there are so many different reasons. I watched the Instagram video that she had posted prior to the incident, and you clearly have someone who has poor impulse control, is emotionally dysregulated, has escalating anger, repeated frustration, feels powerless over her situation, and feels that she's being subjected to this perceived injustice. There are so many different things here in the differential, and obviously I've never examined her, so I can't make a diagnosis, but I think about things like psychosis.
Yeah, I can be honest. Like, I'm happy that they said that. Because I feel like there's a deeper meaning why she did that over,
A personality disorder, substance use, perhaps repeated exposure to trauma. And I think about delusions. I think about psychosis when I hear something like that. But again, there's just so much information that we would need. For example, Was she treated for a prior mental health condition? Was she under the care of a psychiatrist? These are things I'd want to know. Talk to people that were around her in the hours and days prior to the incident.
Now, during this same period, we also learned that Afeni Muhammad had a prior violent conviction. In March of 2022, she pleaded guilty in Virginia to unlawful wounding injury, stab, wound, cut without malicious intent. Court records from Virginia that were reviewed by Click on Detroit show that Muhammad had stabbed her then boyfriend during an argument in 2022, later telling police, "I stabbed him, is he okay?" Now, she was sentenced to 4 years, but that term was suspended, so meaning she only served probation. Now it becomes a question, could that affect the current case? So now the case is back in motion after the results from the findings on her competency evaluation came in. And we're going to break down that report in a moment. But first, we got to get into all aspects of this case. So let me bring on somebody to talk about this, somebody I'm always happy to have on, criminal defense attorney John Day. John, thanks so much for taking the time to come back here on Sidebar to talk about what is a very, very strange and yet sad case. From a prosecutorial point of view, maybe even a criminal defense point of view,
this is a crazy story. Tell me how y'all, tell me what y'all think about it in the comments. Cause I feel like the things in the past is definitely gonna affect it, like I was saying earlier. The things in the past is definitely gonna affect it.
What do you think the strength of this case is? I mean, you have this social media post, you have a potential eyewitness who allegedly stopped the defendant. Talk to me about how strong you think the evidence is in this case.
I mean, the social media post, the eyewitness, those are all, if you're the prosecutor, you really, I guess it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, eyewitnesses, of course, are always subject to, the idea that what we see is not necessarily what really happened. There's always a lot of research on that. But if I'm prosecuting this, I feel pretty good about that. I mean, that's enough for me to keep going. And you're going to hope that a jury sees this the same way.
Now, we'll talk about mental health in a second, but looking at this, if we build up the narrative that she was angry at her manager, she had this, it was fuming for quite some time. But how does the law separate between, let's say, an emotional impulse?
Because if you saw what he said in the video, they're gonna expand I feel like they're gonna take a small situation that happened in the past.
Maybe in the heat of an argument, even though she allegedly stepped out, came back in, and premeditation? Or is it just a very, very thin line?
Well, premeditation can occur in an instant, and that's what prosecutors are always trying to convince a jury when they're asked to step down a charge in a homicide case. I mean, it's the premeditation, it's what was going on in that defendant's mind, what was leading up to that. It could just be a snap decision, but in the right circumstances, you can have premeditation that occurs in that snap decision moment. And so it's the idea that there's a backstory. Okay, this is not just a chance encounter, road rage type homicide. There's a backstory. There's something going on. And if you're the prosecutor, you want to hammer that home for the jury. You want to say, look, this is what was building. It's like turning on a tea kettle, and eventually the steam explodes. And that's what was happening here. And so the prosecutors are going to look at the backstory. They're going to try to build it up. They're going to try to put a foundation together so the jury understands really why this occurred, even though it was, obviously it was a horrifying situation. In the eyes of the prosecutors, there's a reason that this happened, and jurors, we're going to explain to you why.
And from a legal point of view, how does a prior...
No, she finna probably be in jail for life. Going to be in jail for life. Reason why I say that, because she has a record of killing somebody and telling the police that she killed somebody, almost tried to kill somebody. Even though she was being honest at the time, doesn't mean she's gonna get free this time. Doesn't mean she's gonna get 4 years this time. She killed her manager, I feel like out of anger. And her manager just said something wrong.